electricity only to the wealthy. On the other side of the road was this old fort that really captured our imagination. Maybe they were using it when Imperial England was trying to capture Afghanistan in the 1800s. These small huts could hold 1 or 2 men. Afghanistan's history is full of other countries trying to take it over. We are heading northeast to the largest city in Afghanistan. Kabul is Afghanistan's most eastern major city. It's the capital of Afghanistan, the seat of government and the seat of economic power. It's a bustling, noisy city. These cars were made in Russia. Most people walked to work, and it's now early in the morning, the beginning of the business day. Housing is built on the hillside. This was the fearsome military that Afghanistan had. The government of Afghanistan was so poor that they couldn't even keep up the maintenance of the buildings. Kabul was mainly made up of little shopkeepers and small business. There was very little corporation presence there at the time. These Russian limousines were used by the numerous Russian advisors to the socialist government that was in power at this time. Gillette was just making inroads then.
Excuse me, may I make a suggestion?
Yeah, go ahead.
The rooftop of this hotel right here, we stand on that corner.
Yeah.
You can get the street. And
Indeed, taking that young man's advice was a good idea. Up on the roof, we were able to get a spectacular panoramic view of Kabul. Surrounded by snow-capped mountains, there was virtually no air pollution. They didn't even have enough cars to do it. The air was clean and fragrant. It was all very peaceful. Kabul doesn't look like this anymore. It's totally devastated, totally destroyed. All of these buildings are now nothing more than rubble.
It doesn't take long for the kids to catch on.
Afghanistan was a mecca so-called for civilized world. Some came to enjoy the free availability of marijuana and hashish, and many would continue on to India in search of a greater purpose to life. In the morning, you'd find men bathing at the Kabul River. Hinduism, Judaism, and Islam all have strict injunctions on physical cleanliness. There were very few hotels in Afghanistan because there was very little demand for them. The Afghanis enjoyed having foreign guests in their homes, so much so that they would actually argue over it in the holy mosques. Islam has no caste system. Everyone is equal in the sight of God. Afghanistan was not a militaristic society. The people did not fear the police. This policeman is not looking for criminals. In Afghanistan, they didn't have SWAT teams, nor a drug problem. This was to be the last few years of peace in Afghanistan. Little did these poor people know, the United States and the Soviet Union had plans in motion to utterly destroy their country. The United States was going to use Afghanistan as the sacrificial lamb to give Russia its Vietnam. And so, the Mujahid was born, an ultra-fundamentalist movement trained by the CIA in the methods of terror to fight against the pro-Soviet government of Afghanistan. The plan was set in motion under the administration of President Jimmy Carter, but it was his national security advisor who had the brilliant idea of drawing the Soviets into this conflict. This would lead to a civil war that would last nearly 20 years without end in sight, taking hundreds of thousands of lives in a mad rampage of death, destruction, and famine. The war still goes on, the landmines still remain, and the children are its primary victims. Here is Zbigniew Brzezinski, the architect of the plan, a friend of David Rockefeller and creator of the Trilateral Commission. Mr. Brzezinski hated the Soviet Union and used Afghanistan to bring it down.